Hey there, this is Peter Hayden from SharePoint.com, and welcome back to part 2 of my unboxing of SharePoint Server 2013 preview. In the first part we got up to getting most of it installed and just trying to load up Central Admin and also our site collection, and now we'll continue that journey to get those loaded. Okay, so I've been waiting a few minutes now for my sites to refresh, and the first thing is that something went wrong when trying to get back to central administration. It's probably timed out. So I left it go, and now I've got this other tab where I'm trying to load up my test site, and it's saying that the JavaScript has failed to load. So that's a great start. What I'll do is, something's happened, so it's tried to go to my new site collection. I've got the SharePoint bar at the top, but not much else. So let's try refreshing that page and see if that comes back to me. After refreshing the page at JavaScript error, I've now got another error page saying something went wrong and an unexpected error has occurred. So I'm going to click on technical details and see whether I get any further information. And we get a correlation ID and the date and time it's happened. I'm going to try one more time to refresh this page, and I'll go back to central administration separately so I'm not trying to overload my VM, and see whether we get our site come up. It tells me it's working on it. See how that goes. So I've had this error come up again trying to launch my site. Trace it down into the ULS logs in the same location you would expect, so the C program files, common files, Microsoft Share Web Server Extensions 15, new version, and logs. One thing I noticed was in here there's a whole stack of other folders that are being included, but generally what I was after I found inside the general ULS logs here, and it comes down to a request timeout, trying to access this. So I'm going to keep trying this in the background, and then once I've got my site up, I'll resume recording. I'm still having issues trying to get the site collection going, but I refreshed Central Admin, that came back within under a minute. So I'm going to try and create a brand new web application and just see whether there's some sort of error with the process creating that web app. So this is our first look at Central Admin, and everything sort of looks the same. There's this new apps area that sort of noticed earlier on the side. I might leave that for a future session to look at. So if I click on Manage Web Applications, I should be able to come in here and create a new web application. I did notice that SharePoint does not support single level domains, which I'm assuming means sort of these NetBIOS names here. So this machine is part of Active Directory and has a DNS name, so when I create this new web app, I'll try and use that as the name and see if we can connect to it. Okay, here we are under Web Application Management, and the ribbon all looks the same. It's sort of a bit sort of washed out by the looks of it. I'll see if I can create a new web application. Let's try clicking on that again. It appears that it doesn't seem to. If I try selecting it, none of the ribbon items come to life. There we go. That took a few seconds for it to think about it. So I'm going to try creating a new web application. And it's working on it. After several minutes, our dialog box has come up, and so we'll just complete this as we would normally complete on previous version of SharePoint, so I'm going to have this as test.heycoffee.net. That's my little test domain. Okay, that anonymous, won't use SSL, we'll try using NTLM. Just going through there, we use this new application pool with a configurable managed account, the one we've been using, and I'll just, because I really don't like having to use GUIDs, I'll just call this WSS content. Just take the GUID off the end, just put in hey coffee test. So not too many other sort of changes that I've noticed, and we'll press OK at the bottom. Create the web application. After some amount of time, the web application tried to create, and now I've got this dialog box saying something went wrong, saying request timed out. So I'm just going to close this dialog box and refresh this page and see whether our web application got created, but maybe not our. And it'll see if it's in this list here. Well, if I'm going to open IIS and just see whether our site actually got created on the server itself as well. So oops, let's go back to that. It appears IIS Manager is trying to start, fails to respond and tries to restart itself. It's going into some sort of loop. Go back to, just go and close that. Let's try that one more time. So IIS is not responding, and waiting for this page to refresh as well. Central Admin has finished responding, and I can see that it has actually created a new web application here. If I go to IIS, which has now also started responding properly, I refresh my sites list here, I see that there's actually no new web application with that binding I gave it set up. So that was the one that was created for me, Central Admin, but no new one for Hey Coffee. So it's a little bit bewildering that it's created the web applications on SharePoint but hasn't created the IIS site. So I'm not really confident that this new web application has been created correctly. I'm going to probably go to the next step, which is try and create a new site collection based off this web app, and just see whether it's going to let me do that or it's going to fail. I'm not holding my breath. So I'm going to click on Application Management inside of Central Admin. Then from here I'm going to try and create a new site collection. After experiencing some issues getting Central Admin going, which finally worked, and getting the new site collection going, I decided to shut down my virtual machine and allocate a few more resources. So I've given it an extra CPU, so a total of 2, and given it another 2 gigs of RAM. It's got 6 gig of RAM to run. So I've just started it back up. I've gone to Central Administration, and I refreshed the link that I was given, Test Sites Home, and after a few minutes this popped up. So we're now seeing what our new team site looks like. So this is really still a first glance, and just looking around, we've got our the low navigations of starts at the top, but we're missing a few things like the site actions buttons we're probably used to. It's like our ribbon here, and these look like the the ribbon actions we can have on this page, editing page and properties and sort of the sort of settings we're used to seeing. Click back on browse. We've got our quick launch navigation down the left. We've got these like edit pencils on the global side and on the quick launch, so we're clicking on those. Let's see what happens. We can add links, that's about, or delete links that are there. And this is a little bit of a change to what we're used to in terms of being able to modify navigation. And this is without the publishing features turned on, so I'm interested to see, explore a bit later, these sites, what are available to us. Like we saw on Central Admin earlier, there's a few extra buttons around here, but I might sort of leave this section as sort of in terms of our unboxing complete. We've started with the release and downloading that, installing it onto our virtual server, running through some basic config and getting our site provisioned. And I'll come back and do more of a sort of a walkthrough of the previous site, probably another video. Thanks for watching.